Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm actually abroad right now, and I'm going to see if we can buy some books on Amazon and flip them on Amazon, maybe buy some books on eBay and flip them on Amazon. So I didn't think I'd have the opportunity to do this, but I'll be back home next week, and we'll start the live streams up again on Saturday at 6:30 a.m. PST. But with that said, I don't know, let's just do a little bit of live sourcing, see if anyone shows up. If not, it's all good. But let's go into my screen here. And let's see what we got going on. All right. So the first thing that we're going to try out is we'll do a little bit of flip mine. We'll do a little bit of also just keep a deals, keep a product finder, stuff like that. So let's see what we got. All right. So I'm over here on flip mine. Again, I am abroad right now. So I'm using a VPN to access eBay or to access flip mine. So, I also have a prep center, so I don't have to physically be home to, you know, to take my books in. I can just send them to a prep center and that gets shipped to Amazon's warehouse. So it's really cool that that's possible. But let's go and get started here. So I'm going to go and use a couple filters. I'm just going to start with book search number 1 here, which is one of my favorite book filters to use. Is just to look for books that have an Amazon price greater than $85 with a sales rank under 2 million. The idea here is just to find anything that looks somewhat decent. And a lot of the times you're going to have to send offers on some of the books that we come across, but I'm just going to go and scroll down and see if I see anything that actually looks interesting. If not, maybe we'll try a different filter here. And really what I'm looking at, by the way, is a difference in price between eBay's price and the inferred lowest Amazon price. Because if there's a big enough difference in price there, then I might want to check it out and see what's going on. So let's actually look at this Jamaica book here. This looks interesting. This actually looks somewhat interesting, 16 to 30. So let's look at that as well. That might actually be, it's actually only volume 2, it looks like. Let's see if there's anything else here as well. This would be a more expensive book here, but that looks interesting. Let's actually look at this American Prospects book as well and see what we got. All right, we got Miss Lachey in the house. How's it going? Let's see, I'll bring that up. Hope I'm having a good weekend. Yeah, I am having a good. Seagull says, hope you're having a great vacation. I definitely am. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And yeah, obviously I'm not in my normal area, but that doesn't mean you can't flip books on Amazon. So let's see. So we got Jamaica. It looks like we can pick this up for $14.49. And I don't know whether or not that's going to be a good deal on Amazon. We'll see. I have to go back and find that book. Where is it? I think it was up here. Yeah. Let's go ahead and open that up and see if potentially that would be a good deal. So it looks like you can buy for about $6 over here on Amazon. So it's cheaper on Amazon, and the buy box is about $90. So yeah, really fascinating book because you see a couple sales rank drops over $30, which is good, but kind of the majority of sales rank drops happen right around like $7 to $10. So this book is worth right around like $10. So we're gonna go ahead and exit out of that one. Not something that we're interested in. We have this volume 2 book for $16 on eBay. Over here on Amazon, oh, let's get rid of this. Looks like you can potentially pick it up for about the same price. Going over to eBay, actually, interestingly, the lowest used price of this book's right around like 25. So it's, sales rank dropping is right around 25. So it's probably worth around that. Not quite enough margin for us on this book to make it worth it. So we're going to skip that as well. Now, this American Prospects book is $74 over on eBay, and on Amazon, it's also a little bit cheaper. But let's look at its keep a graph. So interestingly, we do see a sales rank drop at 140. So potentially it's sold for that, but we see more sales rank drops right around like 70 to 90. And actually you can see that the used offer count on this book's actually been creeping up over the past couple of months, so not really great there. Looks like this book generally sells around 60 to 70. So this person on eBay actually posted it for pretty good price there. So yeah, they're probably gonna sell it, but we're gonna move on for sure. All right, let's see if there's potentially anything else here, and then we'll move on. Let's see the scriptures of the world's religion. That looks pretty cool. 9 to 18. Maybe that $18 is a little bit undervalued as well. Maybe it actually sells for more than that. We have a picture here, 71 potentially to 120 as well. And let's look at this one here, The Technique of Acting. I think I might have actually flipped that book before. And yeah, let's look at this one as well. See if potentially we can see anything. So we could pick this book up for eBay or on eBay for about $10 from Goodwill. Or on Amazon, looks like it's about the same price. Now the buy box on this is about $39. So that's pretty interesting. But is it actually worth 30? Not really. If you look on Keep, the lowest used price has been pretty much right around like 10 to $15 when the sales rank is dropping. So that tells us it's worth right around what this person wants for it. So this other book here, we can pick it up for a little bit under, a little bit over $70. Looks like on Amazon, you can buy it for a little bit. It's actually a little bit more expensive on Amazon. And this is a really interesting book because there actually has been a significant number of sales rank drops when this book has been right around like 90. So that's cool. There's even been sales rank drops as high as 150. So that's actually also really good news. Back here last August, September, it actually was pretty cheap. Interestingly, when the textbook season started, it got down as low as around $20. So that's pretty interesting. So this definitely can, you know, can kind of vary in price. And what's fascinating is that over the last 3 or 4 years, it's actually been significantly cheaper than it is today, even despite it being at a higher offer count. So this is a book that is actually quite a bit money to invest. $65, considering that we could have picked it up for cheaper in the past. It doesn't really make me feel very easy to make me feel very good picking this up. So I'm gonna go and pass on that. But with that said, there is potential in that book. This one here we could pick up for 21 and on Amazon. Looks like the price is right around that $21 mark. And you can see I'm actually tracking this book for $4. So it's actually significantly less than what I could pick it up for now. But you do see quite a few sales rank drops right around $35 and potentially even more than that as well. But yeah, not quite undervalued enough for me. If it was like maybe $8 to $10, I would consider potentially buying that. Now we have this New Testament book, looks like for 72. You can actually send an offer on this book over on here on Amazon. It's actually a little bit more expensive, so that's good news. The buy box is right around 95. And it looks like there's been a few sales rank drops right around 80, potentially a little bit higher than that as well. But yeah, this is a book that Amazon was selling for significantly cheaper in the past. So definitely something that I'm going to pass on, not undervalued enough. But just some quick sourcing really quick just to see what's going on. Miss Lachey says, have you had good experiences buying from Goodwill online? Yeah, definitely. Buying on Goodwill from Amazon and eBay. I haven't actually bought books directly on Goodwill's website, although I know you could do that. But yeah, yeah, definitely have great experiences buying from Goodwill in general. So let's go back and let's see what else we got. Hey, Josh, how's it going? Good morning. By the way, go and check out both these people. They're both on YouTube. Miss Lachey's on YouTube, smaller channel, but really cool content. And then Josh, actually growing. I think he had like over, I think close to 700 subs, man. So congrats on that. But yeah, let's go ahead and see if let's just look at this Ghost Dance book, and then we'll look at a different filter to see if potentially we can find other books. And I know that this is Flip Mine. It's called Mine for a reason because you have to get through quite a few listings, but obviously, the newest deals are going to be the better ones. I mean, we're live sourcing, so we're looking a little bit further back into time. But it doesn't mean that there aren't deals there. There definitely are. Actually, a really fascinating book. Look at this. Back in August and September, you could have bought this for basically under $10, and then you have sales rank drops as high as about $140, over $100. I mean, that's kind of fascinating that that book could sell for that much, considering it was so cheap. So, Ghost Dance. Not really sure why this book all of a sudden started selling for so much. Clearly, it's probably something about indigenous, probably about Native Americans, indigenous groups. So maybe something happened that this book became much more popular. I mean, the offer count definitely went down very low, and that's partly one of the reasons why its price increase is also one of the reasons why its price is decreasing so significantly, is that there's a lot more offers coming on the listing. So this is something that I'm going to pass on because of that offer count going up, but fascinating book for sure. All right, let's actually look at the Joji stream filter. I set this up, I think, in the last stream. It's to look for books on Amazon with a sales rank under 2.5 million, Amazon price greater than 70, and the eBay price is between 35 and 50 with best offer enabled. So basically, we're trying to find a book on eBay that's slightly undervalued and then potentially send an offer on it. So let's actually see if maybe any of these look somewhat decent, and we'll go from there. So let's look at these first two books here that came up for us to see if we can find anything there. And if not, we'll head on over to Keep and see if we can find something there. So $35 for this book. We can send an offer on as well. Over on Amazon, looks like the lowest price is $30. The buy box is actually 70. But yeah, this actually looks pretty good because basically the lowest used price of this book has pretty much always been around 50. It has been lower in the past, right around 30, but there's pretty significant data to support that this can sell for north of 40, even upwards of 50. I don't really like that the offer count is increasing on this book, but is what it is. The interesting thing about this book is that the buy box significantly is usually consistently higher than the lowest used price, which is pretty fascinating as well. So yeah, this is something that I think we can send an offer on that could be pretty decent. I think if we could snag this book for like 20 to 25, I think that'd be a great pickup. So if we could snag this for 25, I think we could probably sell this book for $60. And at that selling price, you make a $17 profit, 70% ROI. So yeah, this book sells enough for me to send a $20 offer. Now that might be too low for this person, and that's fine. You don't have to accept my offer, but if they do accept it, that'd be great. I've had people accept offers that low, and I'd be happy to pay 20 bucks for this book. I think I just sent an offer for 20, not 25. So if we were to able to pick it up at 20, yeah, I mean, if we were to be able to sell it at 60, that'd be 100% ROI. So that'd be a pretty good pickup there. Let's look at this book here, $47. We can send an offer. Lowest price on Amazon is right around 43, right around the same price. And then the buy box is 72. But this is a book I'm not really interested in because its price has been lower than what we would have to spend on it today. It's been, right around, 10 to 20 bucks in the past. So that's something that I'm going to definitely skip for sure. All right, let's see. Whoa, Josh. Let's see, what do we got with Josh? Josh has picked up 8,000 CDs this week. Videos going to come out next week. Make sure you check that out, everyone. That's actually interesting. That's some bulk. Miss Lachey says, I'm sure the quality they send in Amazon is better than what they put on the website. So they cross-list on Amazon, eBay, and their own website. I would say, from my general experience, from the books that I've had them shipped to me, they usually under-promise, over-deliver. Not always, but a lot of times they do. Carl says, Carl got it. How do you determine what price is set for tracking, and what determines whether you just skip it and not to track it at all in Keepa? So that's a really good question. How do I determine what the price is set for tracking? I first want to establish, like, what do I think I could reasonably sell the book for, and then set the tracker at a price that is probably about a third of that price that I think I can sell the book for. So for example, if you come across a book that looks like it can sell for $60 pretty reasonably, then setting a tracker at maybe a third of that price, right around 20, would be a good pickup, because if you can sell a book for 3 times what you buy it for, you're going to walk away with at least like 100% ROI. So that's kind of the way that I determine what to track books for. Another good indicator is to kind of look at Keepa over the last like 4,000 or 3,000 days, like the entire lifespan of that book, and look at what was kind of the cheapest that book has been in the past, and set that at your tracker. So let's say you come across a book that sells for like 60 bucks, and maybe 3 or 4 times in the last 4 or 5 years it's been as low as $15, and set your tracker right around there, because usually history tends to repeat itself. So it's definitely cool there. Yeah, Miss Lachey says, hey, looking forward to your video. Yeah, so check out Miss Lachey, and also check out Josh. They got some cool content on their channel. So let's actually scroll a little bit down into Keepa as well, or sorry, into Flipmine, and then we'll head on over and see if we can find anything on Amazon. Do some Keepa flips. So this actually looks interesting, 45 into 97. That's potentially a decent flip. Let's look at this one, just because we see another image that someone took. And let's see what else we got. We got a Pokemon book. That's actually quite fascinating. Let's look at that. And then we'll look at let's look at this one. And then from there, actually, we'll look at this one as well. I've flipped this book before. So let's look at 5 or 6 books, and then we'll go over to Keepa. And we'll go pretty fast on these. So 45 bucks free shipping for this book. Let's go over to Amazon. Let's establish a baseline. What is this selling for? Looks like this is about $22. That's when we see sales rank dropping. So what I'm using to establish baseline is what was the lowest used price when the sales rank was dropping. So when this green line sales rank drops over the lowest used price, that kind of tells us when the book is selling. So right around 20 bucks is what this is worth. Obviously, we don't want to spend 45 on a book that sells for 20, so we're going to skip that. This book here we can pick up for 50. Again, let's establish a baseline. We look down here. This book for basically 6 months has been as low as $3. So I'm not interested in a book that you could have picked up for $3. This book we can pick up for 40. It doesn't come with a poster, and it's in acceptable condition, so that's not good. But we come over to Amazon. Looks like actually the lowest price is 65. Looks like the baseline for this is been cheaper, though. You could have picked this up for as low as 17 to 20. And yeah, obviously a book that, again, is overvalued on eBay, meaning someone on eBay they're asking more money than what it's worth, right? So this is a book for 40. Let's go over to Amazon, establish the baseline. Again, you could pick this up for about 15, which is significantly less than what we'd have to spend. Now, interestingly, the last few sales of this book have been right around 60. I would, again, move away from this book, because inherently I think it's overvalued right now. Like, its price is inflated. I think it's really, generally worth right around, 15 to 20 bucks. Interestingly, though, in 2021, 2022, you have sales rank drops as high as 40 and 50. So maybe having picked up a couple copies back then would have been cool, right around like 10 bucks. Let's look at this visual anatomy book. So obviously we want to pick this up because the condition of this is terrible. Looks like the spine is basically ripped out, but this would have been probably a good deal, because I know I flipped this book before. You can pick it up for 45. We'll go over here to Amazon. You can actually see that, yeah, this book is right around like $90, the lowest used price. It's been significantly higher than that, but I'm gonna pass on it because the condition is terrible. And look how many used stickers have been on this. So this book has been resold at least probably 7 or 8 times, and it shows that in its condition. So we're gonna move on from that. But yeah, let's go over to Keepa and see if we can find anything there. Hey, Vinny, how's it going, man? How's your OA journey going? Yeah, how's the OA journey going? I've done somewhat decently. I flipped. Yeah, I've definitely made money on the flip on the buys that I've made, but I've actually decided just to kind of stick with books because I read this book called The Pumpkin Plan by Mike McAllowitz. It's all about spending all your resources on the thing that you're really good at. So I've kind of shied away from it recently, but definitely the buys that I made, the OA buys I made, were pretty much all successful. I think there's maybe one that wasn't successful, but yeah, I made probably a few $1,000s doing online arbitrage with traditional products, which is really cool. But maybe that's something I'll transition into the future. But I feel like there's just so much potential with books. It's kind of my own little niche on YouTube as well. So I'm deciding just to stay with that. But yeah, man, um, definitely a lot of opportunity out there for sure. All right, let's go over to Keeper real quick. I'm not going to be live for too much longer. Just wanted to say hi to everyone and wish everyone well, just to show my face a little bit. Hopefully everyone's enjoying the YouTube videos. I did hire a YouTube editor, as I'm assuming you noticed, because there's no other way I'd be able to put out so much content. But let's go over to the Keep a Deals page and let's see if potentially we can pick up anything that's worth picking up. So let's go and reset this. I was actually looking at DVDs somewhat recently because I did just film a how to flip DVDs in used condition from Amazon using Keep a Deals, and that video should be coming out in a couple of weeks. But let's look at Keep a Deals page. Let's look at used books that have dropped in price over the last day by at least let's do at least 20%. Let's say the drop price has to be at least $22, and we can pick it up anywhere between, let's say, 0 and, let's go pretty cheap. Let's go 0 and let's see, 0 and 18. I don't know. Let's see that. Let's go sales rank as high as 2.5 million as well, like that. And we'll sort by the newest first. So Keep a Deals is just going to find books that have dropped in price, really any category in all. So you can see 100 books came up with this criteria, and you can see that this is when the deal was found 3 minutes ago here. So let's just see if we can find anything that could potentially be worth flipping. And let's start with this 365 crochet book. So here's a book that baseline looks right around 30 to 40, potentially up to 50. You can see the price of this drop down to, what is it, right around 12.49, and that actually shows up here as well. So definitely undervalued. And let's see, over the last 2,600 days, looks like, yeah, the baseline of this book's right around like 30 to 50. So I think it's undervalued. Yeah, you can see there's only one copy here by HPP. Then it goes up to 37, then up to 92, which is pretty crazy. I think 92 is overvalued for sure, but you can see that we have a prime offer for 42.89. So we would be picking this up for about like $17. I think we could probably flip this book for $45 pretty easily. That's a nice $10 profit. And potentially, let's look at the datas tab and look at the offers, and let's look at kind of what. Let me zoom in a little bit. I know it's probably hard to see on my screen here. Let me make sure I'm seeing on my screen. Okay, I definitely am. So let's look at historical offers over the last, let's look at prime offers over the last 365 days. Let's see what prime sellers have been going out of stock at. So this person went out of stock at 28. So they sold theirs in acceptable conditions. Obviously, we wouldn't be profitable. We sold it for 28, but this person went out of stock for 49. We have another person who went out of stock at 49. This person went out of stock at 50. And really what I'm seeing, look at the people go out of stock, is when their stock quantity goes from 1 to 0. That's basically when this blue line falls off the listing. So yeah, a whole bunch of people going off the listing in 45 to 55. So I think this would be a solid deal. I'd probably set the min price at 45 and the max price at 55. Yeah, so I think that's just a bread and butter book. And this is yeah, something that you could track in the future. Like back in 2018, this was as low as $6. So obviously it would have been a great deal back then to pick it up for that price. So I'm gonna go and track this product. So going back to that earlier comment, I would say I'd probably track this book anytime it's under $15, honestly, free shipping, include shipping costs. I'd probably pick up a copy. I'll leave this here for you if anyone wants to buy it. But if after the stream no one buys this, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna purchase it. But I want to let you guys buy that if you want to. So ABCs of real estate. Let's look at this book. So Amazon was selling this in new condition for $15. It went out of stock, and now look how the used price went up pretty significantly. pretty high. This is just a classic story of a book that has a lot of demand, and when Amazon goes out of stock, it increases in price. So it's actually interesting that the price of this in used condition dropped back down to about $10. So potentially you could flip this book, right? Is definitely more risk in this book because if Amazon comes back on the listing at $15, you're kind of, out of luck. But yeah, I mean, this book has been selling for basically around $37, pretty much nonstop since Amazon's been out of stock. So let's see. You can actually see that $9 copy is already out of stock. So definitely someone scooped that up. But let's see what else we got here. Anything else interesting? Sorry, I'm a little bit tired. It's actually like 11 p.m. right now, so I am adjusted to the new time of where I'm at, and I think it should be morning. I think it's like 9 a.m. where everyone else. Well, anywhere between like 9 a.m. to maybe 11 a.m. where people are at in the US. Okay, this actually looks really good. This watercolor book. Notice that the baseline price of this book looks like it's right around 40 when the sales rank is dropping, and then you see the used price drop down to 11.47. So this is probably, a bread and butter flip, 11 to like 40. And you actually can see that copy is already gone. So one or two reasons why it's gone: someone bought it using Keep It Deals, or one of the three people who are tracking this book already bought it. But yeah, this is a book that I would definitely track at that price. So I'm gonna go and track it for $12 and boom, track it over the next 10 years. That would have been a cool flip. And let's maybe look for one more book, and then we'll go ahead and do some just live Q&A, and then we'll end out the stream because I'm pretty tired. Just wanted to say what's up to everyone. All right, let's see. Anything else that we can find? I'm going pretty quick here because I'm trying to find something that looks undervalued. Okay, this is an interesting book because this is a textbook here. You can see that this sells really well in January and February, and really well in August, September. It actually is pretty cheap right now in the grand scheme of things. Like, it's right around $12, which is kind of the cheapest you can pick it up for. So this is a book that probably during January would be a good book to sell. You can see last January it was, lowest price was right around 60 with multiple sales rank drops. So this is something that, I might take a risk on, buy one copy. It could potentially sell here during September. You can see that even though the price of this was pretty cheap, the buy box price was still around $70, which is good news. So that would be a potential, textbook flip there. But definitely there's a little bit of risk in buying books like that. So let's try to find one more like bread and butter book for everyone, and then we'll end it out here. Let's see. Yeah, and one thing I want, everyone to know is, like, even in my videos, I talk about books that I flipped. It's not like every book that I look at is profitable. Like the bottom line is that most books you come across, no matter what, like whether it's thrifting, library sales, like most of the books you come across are duds, right? It's the small percentage of them that are good. The reason why I brought up this book is that this is a seasonal book right here. You can actually see that the used price always jumps in July. So, you can see that basically it jumps up to about 20. So this is a book that actually would be a good book to buy in the off season. So you can see July just came around, and you can see that a similar pattern happened, and, basically went up to about $20. But this is a book that, in order for you to be profitable, it's actually an Albert Einstein book. You'd have to pick this book up on eBay for probably under $5. So you can see there's actually no copies there. But in the off season, when the book is a little bit cheaper, it's possible that you could probably pick up multiple copies for around $5 and potentially flip them for right around like $20. So that's actually an interesting seasonal book. Let's see if there's anything else though that looks somewhat decent. I'm not seeing anything that looks too crazy. But yeah, this is how fast the sourcing is going. I mean, so, I think I'm looking at 100 listings here, and we've already gone through quite a few of them. Gift of Daisies. This looks interesting. So potentially some sales rank drops as high as 30, but generally this book is still pretty cheap. So we're going to move on from that as well. Ooh, that looks somewhat decent, but not too great. Let's see. Yeah, KB Deals actually doesn't look too great today. Well, at least with the parameters that we set. So it's all good. And not every day is going to be a great day. But this actually looks pretty decent. So looks like we have multiple sales rank drops in the last like 3 months, right around 40, and then you can see the price drop down to about 12. Looks like it has been around $12 in the past, but generally it's above that. It's usually around 30. So this is a book this is equipping counselors for your church. Interesting niche book here. you can see that you can still pick it up for about 12 bucks. There's actually a couple copies there. And this is a book that I would consider picking up because you could probably flip this book for right around like 45 bucks. So yeah, I mean, not a great book. This is a book you'd make maybe like $10 profit on, but definitely a book I would consider buying. So let's see what we got. We got Bob Hampton. Hi, back at you, man. How's it going? We got Sarah Noon on the East Coast. Awesome. Great video, Joji. How much time do you spend sourcing each day? Ooh, it's a really good question. It really depends. Like, I'm a high school chemistry teacher. I have a newborn son. Probably maybe like 1 hour a day, at least like 1 to 2 hours a day. Not really that much time at all. But a lot of the sourcing I do is also replen sourcing. So at the end of every day, I look at all the books that I've sold. And on average, I usually sell between like 12 books a day. So I usually look at the books that I've sold and try to replen source them. So, I do a lot of that. Do a lot of keep a product finder, flip mine. There's so many ways to source books. It's actually pretty crazy. And actually, some of the videos I'm coming out with in the future is some other ways to source books besides keep a deals, product finder, keep alerts. There's other ways to source books that are pretty fascinating. So let's see. Joji, in a recent video, you mentioned there are books you bought from Costco. Is it an in-store or online? Yeah, that's actually funny. I was actually buying diapers. I had to go buy diapers for my newborn son, and I had a little bit of time to spare. So I just went to the book section where they sell books, and they had some, actually a whole bunch of books. And there were these, I think they had about 5 or 6 different Bob collection sets, and scanned a few of them. And the ones that I bought were actually profitable. I was able to pick them up for like 12 bucks. I think I flipped them all for about 40. And I did sell them in new condition, but the reason why I sold them in new condition is because I actually had a retail receipt showing that I bought them new from a retailer. So I felt like it was a little bit less risky to do that. But I would never sell a used book in new condition, but I would sell a new book that I have an invoice or receipt for in new condition. So yeah, that was actually just a funny thing, just to show you that literally you could go to Costco, buy diapers, and still flip books on Amazon. It's kind of crazy. Josh says, do you think it's possible for Amazon to close your account because you're buying on Amazon, then selling right back on Amazon? Yeah, I mean, there's potentially, there's potential risk there. Although in the terms of service, they do clearly state that you just can't use Prime shipping or your Prime subscription to do Amazon flips. Otherwise, they haven't mentioned that it's against TOS to buy on Amazon and flip on Amazon. So, what's actually pretty fascinating is that kind of a lot of what's working for online arbitrage sellers with getting ungated in different categories right now is buying directly on Amazon from Amazon and showing Amazon the invoice saying that they bought the item from a legitimate, retailer or, a distributor, which is Amazon. And they have the intention, obviously, to sell it back on Amazon. So Amazon is actually accepting those invoices. So, there's risk in anything. And yeah, they could shut your account down at any time for doing that. But I think it's a low risk. Vincat says, did you use scouting apps or seller amp at Costco? I actually used the Amazon seller app. So I just used my phone and just used the Amazon Seller Central app and just scanned it with my phone, scanned the barcode. And then I think I did use the Keepa. I used the Keepa phone app just to make sure that the new price of that book actually was holding pretty good value. And it was really low risk. Like it was like I think it was only 6 book sets that I bought. I think I was all in for like 70 bucks and ended up making, I think, 70 bucks. So I think I ended up spending like $70 worth of groceries. So I basically bought groceries that day for free after all the sets sold. So it's actually pretty interesting. It's pretty cool. Actually, I should have filmed this video, but before I left to go to Vietnam, which is where I'm at right now on vacation, I went to this like book fair that was kind of like a street vendor thing. There was this person that was selling books that he had got from a storage unit or something, and I was able to pick up like 20 books and spend like a couple bucks a book. I should have filmed it. I don't know what I was doing. I should have filmed it, but I was even able to buy books there and flip them. There's literally so many places you can buy books. It's actually kind of crazy. There's opportunity everywhere. You just got to have your eyes open, and when there's opportunity, just be there ready to strike. So yeah, I think I'm probably gonna end out the stream there. Just wanted to say hi to everyone, but maybe I'll do some few minutes of last Q&A if anyone has any questions. But if I start sourcing using Seller Ramp, is there a need to keep using Scout IQ or Scoutly? Ooh, really good question. I think Scout IQ and Scoutly are better for volume. So if you're at a thrift store or a library sale, like I don't think Seller Ramp is going to be able to do the same sort of speed at which Scoutly or Scout IQ would be. So it depends on what sourcing you're doing. If you're doing, like online book arbitrage sourcing, like I'm doing, I've never used Scoutly or Scout IQ because I just need Keepa for that. If you're out and about and you're just doing some scanning, yeah, you could just use Celeround. But if you're doing high volume scanning, I think you need Scally or Scout IQ, because it's gonna help you with like the rejects and the accepts, like reject, accept, stuff like that. But 16 people here. Thanks for being here. I hope everyone's enjoying the videos and hope everyone's doing well. I think I just checked recently on the year. I'm at $142,000 in sales, doing all online book arbitrage, a little bit of traditional online arbitrage, but pretty much all OA book arbitrage. And things are going really well. Really thankful that we have this opportunity, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So doesn't look like there's any more questions. You can already hear that my words are starting to not be very coherent because it is, like I said, almost midnight here. So just wanted to say hi to everyone. But yeah, I'll be back next Saturday and I'll do some live sourcing 6:30 a.m. PST. But have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.